Yeah, so we're just going to start off with a quick update here. So this got posted after I was recording the first video here. 68 people were arrested, 57 officers were just injured during a pro-Trump. Yeah, this is Twitter. I have it here because we're doing the big censorship wrap up because, well, I was looking for information. It's like, okay, Trump was going to be placed under a 12-hour ban after he deleted those two tweets. One was critical of Mike Pence, and the other one was the initial video of saying people should just go home, okay? Just go home. But apparently that ban has been lifted. The 12 hours has been met. Twitter did the dirty of getting rid of those two tweets, apparently. But yeah, literally right here it says 10 minutes ago, so you guys will get a little bit of a timeline on how long it takes me to upload, edit, and create a thumbnail of shit. So whatever it is, by the time that you read it, just know it, yeah, literally just went live. I watched through the entire thing. It was a confirmation of, yeah, the statement that we read there in the previous video. It's, for all intents and purposes, a concession speech. Sucks dick, but he's got Twitter back. Won't be there for long. But I just also want to go ahead and, since we're doing this wrap up right now, I'm just going to click on here and whatever, fucking press pause in this video here. But look at everything that's going on right now. DC police made 68 arrests and 57 officers were injured during pro-Trump insurrection at the U.S. Capitol. Local authorities announced that 4 people died. 4 people died after a mob of Trump supporters entered the Capitol building. We know that one person who died was Ashley Babbitt, and she was shot dead by the police. And she was a vocal Trump supporter. And you notice how that they're putting that, and if it was the roles were reversed, if this was a Black Lives Matter rally like Joe Biden said would be so much worse, what do you think would be the top line of that headline? Unarmed black woman shot dead by dirty, awful police. No, it's just kind of laid in there. It's like 4 people died, so you could assume that maybe, hey, that was during all the chaos that was going on, like pictured right here. Dirty motherfuckers. And as soon as Trump gets yeeted off the platform, I think that'll probably be in a couple of days here, because I also think that they're going to invoke the 25th Amendment and probably going to be invoking, I don't know, something. Whatever they can get their hands on to throw them out there and tarnish any hopes of a 2024 run. Listen, give it a couple of weeks. This is going to blow over, because even right now it's coming out that at least one person who was there who breached the Capitol was an avowed Antifa member. We can pull it up here in a minute, but yeah. That wasn't the purpose of this video. This is just, yeah, more breaking information, because all of these videos are going to end up being along the same line of talking points, because, yeah, the reframing of the entire scenario was the purpose of the first one, because, yeah, it's out of fucking hand at this point. And, yeah, just so we can finish the story and move on to the censorship part of this. 68 people were arrested, 57 officers were injured during the insurrection. The fucking hardly, my dudes. And 2 officers were hospitalized, according to a tweet from NBC. But as we see here, images from insurrection at Capitol show people with links to far-right movements, report New York Times, BuzzFeed, and other fact-checkers, implying that the New York Times and BuzzFeed, of all places, are objective bastions of truth. And you know what? I said that we'd get to it in a minute here, but I'm going to pull up this story. Extreme BLM activist identified in mob that stormed the Capitol. There you go. Are we, well, I would say the Black Lives Matter is a white supremacist organization, but I would also think that somebody who is an avowed Black Lives Matter activist wouldn't be somebody who would be normally a Trump supporter. So that kind of fed into the theory that everybody was thinking, that there has to be some sort of agent provocateurs in the crowd. There's no way Trump supporters would just unprovoked storm the Capitol. And yeah, as the days and hours roll on, more information is coming out to, I don't know, is play into that theory the correct terminology? I think the correct terminology is support that pretty easy to believe theory. One man who participated in the siege of the Capitol building on Wednesday has been identified as John Earl Sullivan, a Black Lives Matter activist from Sandy, Utah. Sorry, my dude. One of the men who was a part of the siege in the Capitol building as John Earl Sullivan, an extreme Black Lives Matter activist in Utah. He was arrested and charged in July 2020 over a BLM Antifa riot where drivers in Provo were threatened and one was shot. And it looks like he was one of those people that got caught and then released, because that's what they do for Black Lives Matter protesters. They don't call them insurrectionists, even though they take over federal buildings, police precincts, and actually do some tangible damage. Okay, I don't want to minimize that 57 police officers were injured and 2 are in the hospital. That sucks. Full stop. That just sucks, okay? According to KUTV, John Sullivan is a founder of the civil rights group Insurgents. I'm sorry, I've been reading that word so much lately and getting pissed off because of it. Insurgents USA, and does not align politically with President Donald Trump, but has been in D.C. this week for several planned protests, including Wednesday's rally at the Capitol. Sullivan told KUTV that he was able to get inside the Capitol through a broken window. Wow, imagine, I'm pretty sure I said that during my video there when I was looking at the people smashing out the window. I was thinking, hey, this isn't normal Trump supporter type activism, okay? This is clearly something that is outside of the norm of what they do, and there has to be somebody else in there. There we go. Protesters weren't really trying to burn anything down. They weren't really trying to break anything. Their main motive was to get into the chambers, Sullivan told KUTV. In that process, one woman was shot and killed, and Sullivan claimed he was standing right next to her when it happened. I remember looking into her eyes and seeing the lifelessness and understanding that she was dead. Sullivan claims to be inside the Capitol to document the chaos. The woman who was shot and killed, yes, we covered that in the last video there as well. So cute that they have a nice graphic designer. A police affidavit confirms Sullivan is a part of the Insurgents USA group, which plan to kick these fascists out of D.C. and install our own fascists that we can push around. Protesters traveled through downtown Provo. The protesters did not obtain a permit for the event. The affidavit states John Sullivan and Insurgents USA had social media postings promoting other protesters to join them. I'm glad that they are allowed to continue on the major social media platforms, because God knows I won't be using them, and we'll be getting into the ones that we can blacklist going forward, because if we don't do it first, they're going to do it to us. It's kind of like being in a shitty job. You know your days are running out and said, fuck you, you ain't firing me, fuck you, I quit. And it's kind of like that. A little petty, but at the same time, you kind of have to get your kicks where you can before you have to get your can kicked in jail. That's where we're all heading. The protesters traveled on roadways blocking motorists who have the right of way. John Sullivan blocked vehicles from freely moving lawfully. During the course of the protest, 2 handguns were brandished and 2 shots fired towards a motorist traveling to Home Depot. Vehicles were damaged by protesters as well as by John Sullivan. The affidavit states this happened in Provo, by the way. As a protest organizer or a community activist like Barack Obama, John Sullivan is heard and seen as he is promoting protesters to block roadways, keeping motorists from traveling lawfully and freely. According to the affidavit, Sullivan has also captured on video threatening to beat a woman in an SUV and then kicking her door, leaving a dent. We could go on and on, but this guy is just about a piece of shit. So, yeah, it looks like that theory of people being in the crowd in order to incite the violence, and then this is not dismissing those people who are actually Trump supporters from going into the Capitol and committing a felony of trespassing or whatever, but I'm not going to say that they're insurrectionists, because I think that is patently stupid, and we need to know the power of our words going forward, and we can't just pervert them for whatever means necessary, whether it's calling right-wing Trump supporters insurrectionists or calling left-wing activists peaceful protesters. Both of those are equally as destructive to English language, and we should know the difference and call the people the proper terms that they do deserve. I think we can all understand the importance of the clarity of language. And yeah, it really doesn't much matter to the big tech firms, by the way, because as we see, okay, yeah, the president is back on Twitter. Okay, cool. But he's been permabanned on Facebook and Instagram. Yeah. Cool. This was announced afterwards, okay? I reported, I think maybe briefly on the 24-hour ban that was going to be on Facebook, but it's actually a lot longer than that. It's going to go through Inauguration Day because reasons. Facebook and Instagram are banning President Donald Trump from their platforms beginning Thursday. We believe the risks of allowing the president. We're here, guys. We're here. This is big tech telling you what the president is and is not allowed to do. Oh, I can't believe this. I can. Actually, you know what? I can totally believe this, because we've just been ramping up to this day. I thought we'd have until the 20th when he wasn't the president anymore, but yeah, fuck it. Nobody's going to tell him not to. Therefore, we are extending the block we have placed on his Facebook and Instagram accounts indefinitely, and for at least the next 2 weeks until a peaceful transition of power is complete. Facebook co-founder and CEO Mark Zuckerberg wrote, "Guess how many more Senate hearings he's going to be a part of?" 0. Zuckerberg announced the decision of his own Facebook page on his own Facebook page, citing Wednesday's tumultuous, destructive events at the Capitol as one of the main reasons for the ban. "Over the last several years, we have allowed President Trump to use our platform." How cute. They aren't even referring to themselves as publishers. Consistent with our own rules, at times removing content or labeling his posts when they violate our ever-changing policies, he wrote. "We did this because we believe that the public has a right to the broadest possible access to political speech." Horseshit. Enough with this. He doesn't mean anything that he says. They're just getting rid of somebody that they don't like. I'll link to all of these articles, and there are a bunch, because there are a bunch of really awful social media firms out there. There's only like 2 that I'm going to be using going forward, because I don't know who we're going to be able to trust going forward. And I like Rumble, I like Parler. Everybody else can go jump in a lake, if I may be so bold. But okay, so we got Twitter out of the way. It's going to be very, very, very much out of the way here shortly. Facebook, Instagram, because it says indefinitely, or at least for the next 2 weeks. At least for the next 2 weeks. They're going to get purged, okay? Fair and simple, okay? We're here. Probably something I don't think the president uses all that often, but it is still notable, because I don't know if his call for peace and for everybody to go home, which was immediately spun into a call for violence because we're here now, if it was posted to Snapchat, but it's not going to be there anymore. Snapchat joins big tech censorship campaign to ban President Trump. Snapchat just became the latest social media company to bar President Donald Trump from posting on its platform. We can confirm that earlier today, we locked President Trump's Snapchat account. The account was first locked on Wednesday, just before the president's video urging for people to leave the Capitol grounds. Okay, so there we go. Couldn't have even been posted up there. Almost 2 million people are subscribed to view the president's content on Snapchat. It is somewhere around the next platform. The second. We got one more platform, and then we're going to hop over to the big one there. About the same subscriber count as what he has on there. Viewing the president's content on Snapchat, the company has not announced when the ban will be lifted. It won't be. Snapchat said it is monitoring the situation closely before reevaluating its decision. I heard that exact same language from, I think, who was the last one to ban Alex Jones? Yeah, exactly. You guys know what I'm talking about. Anyways, not even allowed to sell mega hats anymore. Shopify just banned all Trump stores. Shopify stripped down all online stores for President Donald Trump, including the President Trump's organization and affiliated campaign account following Wednesday's Capitol riots. It's delicious. The media spin is out of control. It is going unchecked now. And you get in its way and it will fucking spin you up, throw you out, and leave you without a goddamn lifeline. And to all those people just saying, "Oh, you shouldn't have stormed the gates of the Capitol building." This was inevitable, okay? That just sped up the timeline. You guys understand that. People who have been following this situation closely knew that January 20th is probably going to be the drop dead date, and everybody's going to start doing this. This was just an opportunity for them to act 2 weeks earlier. I don't know what you were expecting. That riot, that insurrection really didn't do anything, okay? It made the people that hated the president hate him even more, which I don't know if that's possible at this point. Maybe they'll just become such a little ball of anger, they'll just fucking burst off into the atmosphere, kind of like a black hole. Some of them are the size of a black hole, so, it is highly possible. Let's just see how much farther this goes. Trump organization is taken offline by Shopify. You guys realize that, okay, at least at the time of this recording, God, and I'm going to have to keep saying that for the next 2 weeks, he is still the president of the United States, and he is still the 45th president of the United States, regardless, until they start rewriting history. Okay, Trump's campaign e-commerce site is also closed by Shopify. Shopify says it closed websites associated with President Trump after riot at the Capitol. Delicious. According to the Wall Street Journal, a Shopify spokeswoman said the president, through comments he made on Wednesday in which the election was fraudulent but urged his supporters to go home now and go home in peace, had violated the company policy. Oh my God, going home and go home in peace are violations of Shopify's terms of service, their company policy. I read that. I literally read that, and I said those words. Dumber words have never been uttered. But yeah, I know Shopify just signed this big deal with Walmart to be distributing through them. So it kind of falls in line because you guys remember that Josh Hawley was, I don't know, called out by whatever fucking intern that they have running the official Walmart account. But yeah, it's kind of weird that it all falls in line there. I just kind of drew that little parallel, but we'll get to Josh Hawley here close to the end because they're going after friends of the president because you knew they would. Anyways, YouTube will ban all videos highlighting voter fraud. That's why I can't make direct claims anymore. I can once I don't know what I want to do with Rumble, okay? I'm kind of throwing a couple things up in the air, and anybody who's been watching the video for as long as it's been going on right now, I'm at a precipice right now. I don't know because I'd like to continue to grow my Rumble page because it's growing every day. Like, more people are signing up over there all the time, and it's right now at about 25% of this audience is over there as well. I don't know if it's the same, but I've got a pretty good percentage, and it keeps growing all the time, and I want to do something special for them. I don't know if it's going to be another video per day or if I'm just going to put 2 out on YouTube and all 3 on Rumble. I don't know what we're thinking because I'm also thinking that eventually all of my content, all 3 videos, are going to be exclusive to Rumble because I won't have a home on YouTube. I don't know. Frankly, I don't care the way that they're locking down everything and just making it the speech of the new world, or if I just wanted to, I don't know, put on a fucking bra and do Donna's makeup tutorials and just talk about how great the YouTube algorithm is and stop saying fun words like retarded and shit and cunt. It's not a world I'd like to be a part of, but it's a world we're at right now, so, and I know how close I am to the edge. I just don't know when I'm going to get pushed into it, but here we go. Google-owned YouTube will ban all videos shedding light on voter fraud in the United States' most recent election starting Thursday. That'd be today. As we shared previously, we do not allow content that misleads people. Oh, can we just stop right there? That's hilarious. Alleging that widespread fraud or errors changed the outcome of the 2020 U.S. presidential election. Don't even bother discussing it anymore because, hey, you know, Congress decided that there's nothing to see here, even though there's plenty to see here. YouTube statement reads, policy applies to videos uploaded on or after December 9th. Boy, I have a bunch of those. Initially, the video platform only removed videos declaring widespread voter fraud. Okay, but the original clarification was, you can't say that anything was done directly by the Democratic Party that influenced a loss. I think I've been fairly good at skirting that by just saying, here's all the fraud that's occurred. I haven't said that it's come directly from one party or another, and I think I've done a pretty good job of just presenting the facts there and telling you that things don't quite seem on the level. But I don't know. The way that their policies keep changing all the time, and this was originally supposed to take place on the 20th. You weren't allowed to discuss anything after the 20th, and when I originally uploaded based on their updated terms of service, that's what it was. But, of course, as a backlash of what happened at the Capitol building, all of a sudden everything changes because, like I said before, a few dozen nuts went in and took some fucking pictures. Like photographs, and maybe one asshole took a fucking piece of art in the speaker's podium. Whoop-de-fucking-do. Didn't get very far. Initially, the video platform only removed videos declaring widespread fraud, but now the enforcement of the updated policy will include removing and issuing a strike on the channel of the users who posted the content. Strikes on YouTube prevent users from uploading, sharing, and live streaming on their channels for a minimum of a week and can result in a full ban. Let's see how quickly that changes. Now that the election results have been certified and due to the extraordinary events that transpired yesterday, videos uploaded on or after today that violate this policy will both be removed and a strike will be applied to the channel, the statement said, as strikes can impact a channel standing. Oh, I love how all of these very nebulous terms just kind of overlap with one another, including the ability to upload. We recommend that you be familiar with what we tell you and follow our rules, you fucking bigot. Oh, I'm sorry. When publishing relevant content on YouTube. Relevant is what we prescribe, not what you think. It's what we prescribe. And once again, just an ever-evolving beast, okay? We're never going to be on top of this. And by we, I mean people that just want to talk about things, because the only way that you're going to get to the bottom of things is if you talk about them. We wouldn't be nearly in the situation that we are if somebody would hear the complaints of the fraud that's out there. But yeah, that was all thrown out because of standing, or because of latches, or because of rightness, or because of anything that they wanted to describe as a means to just throw this shit out, because nobody really wanted to get involved in this, and they just wanted the mean orange guy to just go away. And now they have their inciting moment, and they can use it to, I don't know, smear them for as long as humanly possible. And there's another reason why I think the mainstream media is just going to continue to grow with influence. Okay, listen, I've said that the mainstream media sucked a dick for a very long time, and most of their websites out there are just as corrupt as their broadcast network is. And yeah, I think the aftermath of the election, everybody having regrets if they would have knew about the Hunter Biden laptop, sorry. Or if Joe Biden was in favor of lockdowns, would have changed their vote or maybe made them double think about it. But where'd all those narratives come from? They don't come from people who are engaged in the process. They don't come from people who do their own research. It comes from the mainstream media, okay? That comes from everything that you hear in passing. That comes from everything that's on the radio. That comes from the magazines that are up at the front of the registers there. Everything is Orange Man bad, old hair sniffer good, okay? That's why every picture of Trump from everything from ABC, NBC, CBS, all of those networks, it's always scowling Donald Trump with his hair maybe a little bit askew. And then you have the porcelain smile and the Play-Doh hair plugs from Joe Biden, and he just always looks like the nicest man on earth in every single editorial that's out there. Prove me wrong. So that's why mainstream media is always going to be as popular, and they're always just going to get their message out there to low information voters and sway them that way. Hey, if they can't steal your vote, they're just going to make sure that they indoctrinate the masses so that your vote really doesn't matter, because there will, for every one of your vote, there will be 2 or 3 soccer moms who just don't want Orange Man to be so mean to their kids going forward into the future. But here's some stuff that's going to slip under the radar, and it's more censorship stuff, and you gotta love it. And by love it, I mean hate it with all of your being, because, yeah, it started off, and all I was going to do is everything that was happening on Trump, and then said, eventually it's going to come for you. But, yeah, it's already coming for his friends and supporters, okay? Simon & Schuster cancels publication of Senator Josh Hawley's new book about tech censorship in literally a line that could have came out of 1984. Okay. Publisher Simon & Schuster decided to cancel the publication of Senator Josh Hawley's new book, Tyranny of Big Tech. You cannot make this up in a fiction. Honestly, this is just straight out of some sort of dystopian hellscape. Due to his role in challenging the 2020 election results and allegedly inciting the actions taken by Trump supporters who stormed the Capitol building Wednesday. Yeah, it's not going to stop there, okay? We did not come to this decision lightly, Simon & Schuster said in a statement. Hawley's book was set to come out in June 2021. The New York Times reported the book, The Tyranny of Big Tech, explores the socio-political power and abuse from big tech companies and social media titans who control public discourse in the modern world. Yep. And now people won't be able to hear it from the lips of Simon & Schuster. He'll probably find another publishing house, because this is only going to make that bigger. Well, you'd like to think so, but the way that everybody in big tech is acting in lockstep, I don't know. I don't know. This is going to be the first time that we're going to see what the extent of cancel culture and what the extent of people trying to distance themselves from Trump, at least in the short term, is going to look like. Because a term from Joe Biden is, boy, it's going to result in just a really shitty 4 years for everybody, okay? Because you guys who voted for Joe Biden were not sold a bill of goods that you will like, okay? This is a cabal of people who lie for power and then abuse it for fun to enrich themselves and those they care about, and everybody else be damned. You know it, I know it, I've reported on it. Who knows how much longer I'll be able to report on it here, but fuck it, I'm going to do my best, and that's just not being some kind of a doomer or anything. I just, call them like I see it. And yeah, it doesn't stop with elected officials. It's, people who are also calling for peace that are vocal Trump supporters. So Twitter suspends prominent conservative Dan Bongino for sharing Trump's call to end violence. That was the video that was taken down off of Twitter. Bongino put it on his own website, shared out that link, and then was nuked off Twitter. He's not going to be going back, at least that's what he said in a Parler post. Prominent conservative and high-profile Parler investor Dan Bongino was locked out of his Twitter account for 12 hours after he posted President Donald Trump's call to end violence in the Capitol speech. That was the final straw for Bongino to leave the left-aligned platform for Parler permanent. Yeah, and that was that was Mark Levin, who's been another vocal recruiter for Parler, tweeting out that, Bongino has been locked out of his account, and he's going to tell them to go fuck themselves tomorrow. And here's the actual tweet itself, I suppose. Hi, Dan Bongino. Your account Bongino, has been locked for violating the Twitter rules, specifically for violating our rules about civic integrity. The fuck does that even mean? You may not use Twitter services, blah, 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 blah. And there was a heinous, awful tweet in question. Twitter wouldn't let President Trump post it himself. And then it doesn't show there, but there was a little link to it. It was to his own website where he uploaded the video and tried to put it out himself, obviously. So, it came for Trump, censoring Trump. It came for his friends, censoring his friends. Doesn't matter if they're elected public officials. It doesn't matter if they're private citizens. I just figured that we'd have more time to get ready. But like I said, the third video of the day is what the fuck we do going forward, because this sucks. This really sucks. Is it the end? Nah. Like Trump said in that Twitter video, if you guys watch it, and I do encourage you, this is not the end. This is just the beginning. I firmly believe that. Thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.